Record. All right. All right. So let's get to it. I'm gonna go right into it. I'm gonna share my screen so you guys can see, and I'm gonna get busy so you guys can get all the information that you guys are here for. All right. So MyFitnessPal Simplified, but what I really want to reiterate again is it doesn't necessarily have to be MyFitnessPal. I personally use MyFitnessPal. I like it. I have found it to be the most user friendly, the biggest database that I've personally seen and used. It also syncs to my fitness app. If you say those words together, it sounds like I'm saying MyFitnessPal. The fitness app that I personally use for our membership clients or even those that I coach on a one-on-one basis. And so I love it because it syncs. And so if you track, I can see it all and I can give you the best form of feedback in all those areas. So again, you don't have to use MyFitnessPal. Everything that I share with you today is pretty much you can apply it to if you have a different app that you love, by all means. But what I do want to teach you guys today is I'm going to share some hacks on tracking, some things that I share with other women and teach them how to just make it a little easier to take some pressure off your shoulders that you probably have on yourself that is creating a lot of extra stress and overwhelm. But I also, if you don't know me, I'm going to share a little bit about me in just a second, but um, food and fuel that you put in your body, especially when it's balanced with macros, it is what is going to be the fuel for your metabolism. And we're going to take away the overwhelm. My goal is to simplify the tracking, reduce the stress, and create freedom. So, Freedom Macro Society is my membership program that we have. Freedom Macro Method is kind of the method that I've created over the last 6+ years of coaching women through macros and nutrition, and just made it easier and easier and easier and easier with every single person that I have walked through, because I learned from you guys too, which is pretty cool. But who am I? Because some of you guys have no idea who I am. Some of you guys do. Some of you guys see me on a regular basis in our online business. Some of you guys, just all the things. But anyway, just to give you a little bit of background on me so you know who in the world I am and why am I so passionate about the freedom aspect of this and helping you guys simplify it and food tracking in general. I think it's important to know who you're learning from. Obviously, Angela, I am a 44-year-old woman going through perimenopause that, bodies change, things don't work like they did whenever I was in my 20s or even 30s. A lot of us, if you're comfortable, share your age in the chat if you want. I think we're all different walks of life and different ages. Like I said, I'm 40, just turned 44 this past summer. And why am I so passionate about helping women find food freedom? Because I have lived the life of feeling stuck. I've lived the life of missing out on moments because I was trying to eat out of a Tupperware and eat perfect. And I was trying to look a certain way. And I cared so much about all the other things that were not necessarily important. I also 6+ years ago was whenever I launched my coaching, business online from a broken me, a broken version of me. Just to give you guys the shorter version of me, like I skipped workouts because I was so busy. I was giving all of me to everyone else and nothing to me. How many of you guys have been there? Just put me in the comments, or maybe some of you are there right now. Put right now in the chat, if you will. I literally gave everything to the kids. I gave everything to my husband. I gave everything to my network marketing business and team that I had then. I gave everything to my group fitness, clients that I used to teach outdoors. Then I gave everything. I sacrificed sleep. I used to think, oh gosh, I can do without sleep. 3 to 4 hours is all I really need. That was a lie. It's not the case. I used to skip meals all the time because I was so busy. I needed to hurry up and go get to my inbox and take care of work, and I needed to do all these things. But the funny thing is I never let my kids go without food, and I never let my husband go without food. But why did I do it to myself? It's just natural. It's what we do, women. It's what we do, ladies. I skipped workouts because I was too busy. All the things, I did it all. And so all of that, I fell flat on my face in 2019, like broke as a joke, playing mortgage on a credit card because all of my businesses tanked because I had no gas, no energy, no anything left to give anybody, because I was burnt out and broken is and broke, burnt out, broken, and broke all at the same time. And it was terrible. But that is also where you guys, if your faith is big as mine, like that's where God gave me my purpose. And that's honestly what makes me so passionate to wake up every single day and help you. And let's be real, like we all, you right now, whoever's on this call now, or a lot of y'all are catching this on replay, you deserve to feel good in your body again, but without restriction and without the guilt of, oh my gosh, I ate a piece of pizza and I'm going to beat myself up for days. and starve myself. That's not how it should be. And so that creates so much passion in my heart every single day about this. And before I get into the nitty gritty of the actual food tracking that I want to teach you guys today, the struggle is real. And some of you are on this call right now because you're like, I saw it and I know the struggle is real. I'm on it. I'm on the struggle bus. If you're on that struggle bus right now, and if you're comfortable, put struggle bus in the chat. I love to talk with you guys in the chat if you hadn't noticed, but I love to bring awareness around why most women feel stuck. And some of you feel stuck right now because of a few of these reasons, especially when it comes to food. Today's world is overwhelming when it comes to the 20,000 million different diets, supplements, shots, you name it, everything. There's so many things out there. And it's like, what the heck am I really supposed to do? Right. So when it comes to food tracking in general, I know I've talked more women off of that ledge of quitting food tracking because they were trying too hard to be perfect. Any perfectionists on this call today? A lot of women are they're trying too hard to be perfect, and that perfect is not a thing. Their perfection will hold you back quicker than anything, and the struggle is will a lot of people walk away from food tracking because of that feeling of overwhelming or like it's time consuming. Like you said, Alyssa, like it's overwhelming and it's time consuming. Like, screw this. I don't have time for this. I've got kids to take care of. I've got all these things on my plate. I've got work. I've got all the things. But listen, our dieting culture that I love to help women break free from has also told us to do the eat less and move more method. And in my programs and just when in general, when I'm coaching women, I literally love to help you see that it truly, especially as we get a little older, we could usually listen, let's face it. We could do things in our 20s that were very extreme and our body responded quickly. The older we get, that is not the case. Actually, it burns it out and actually kills your metabolism. It does so much damage. And so the eat less, move more is actually, I love to help you flip the script and help you literally eat more and I say move less. It really just depends on what you're doing now. A lot of women are actually overtraining because we're trying to do more and eat less, where we flip the script. Okay. And so many are feeling exhausted, frustrated. And again, this might be you right now. Like I'm working hard. I'm trying all the things, Angela, but I'm not freaking seeing anything. I'm not seeing any results. My goal is to take you from the girl on the left that's eating literally, you see her plates of just a piece of lettuce, which has zero, not very much nutritional value, and it might be about 15 calories that you see on her plate. It's not a lot. To the girl on the right that is eating a piece of pizza. And if y'all know me at all, if you've ever been an inside in my communities, like I love talking about pizza nights with your family because that's my jam. That's my favorite thing to do. You should be able to have pizza nights. And that's where food tracking and macros can actually fall into place, where you can plan the pizza nights, still get results, not take 10 steps backwards, and not feel guilty about having the pizza because of the balance that you're creating in your life through the things that I'm going to teach you some of them today, obviously, and some of them we teach inside of our community. But I really love to help women understand and really see that you're not stuck because of your lack of willpower or motivation. Most of the time, it's the method that you're following. Again, macros is not a restrictive diet. And again, I'm going to get into a little bit more of what macros is. If you're like, I have no idea even what that is, Angela. I'm going to get into a little bit of that today. Don't worry. Macros is just a fancy word for your protein, how much protein you eat a day, how many carbs you eat a day, and how much fat you eat a day. Those are the three main macronutrients that are the most important. But it's also a lot of times hormones and metabolism need balance. Anybody on here having hormone issues, put hormones in the comments. uh, some of you might feel like it and you're like, gosh, something's not right. Like I just packed 20 pounds on overnight. My belly fat is more than it ever used to be. Like those are signs of hormone things going on, but it could also just be nutrition, and you can balance it out through food tracking and food. But the other thing too is seeing that MyFitnessPal is a tool. But I will tell you again, so many people quit on the food tracking side of things because we were never taught how to simplify it. We were taught to think of like follow focus on how many grams of protein I'm eating, how many carbs, how much fat, how much fiber, how much sugar, how much sodium, what are my calories, and all these numbers. And you guys, I'm telling you, I focus on two. And I'll share that as you get going. Because you guys, it is, it's for lack of better words, it's paralyzing if you're trying to focus on too much. And that's a big part of the simplification. So, I see some of you guys on the struggle bus. I'm just looking at the chat real quick. I just want to take a sneak peek. I get to rolling, and I think I have to be perfect. Or yeah, there's a couple of y'all that said something about OCD or perfectionism, ADHD, like all these things. Yeah, ADHD on my mind thinks, yeah, perfect or nothing. There's a lot of us that struggle with that perfectionism. Like I got to do it all. Same thing when it comes to workouts. I see a lot like I'm going to go all in. I'm going to go. I always refer to it as zero to hero. If you are not doing anything right now, you cannot go from not tracking at all to trying to be perfect on all of your macros and work out 6 days a week, but yet you weren't doing anything. You cannot go from zero to hero. It's the all or nothing personality, which is one of the other ones that we really try to help women shift their mindset around. Because again, when it comes to tracking, perfectionism and the all or nothing personality will create that extra stress internally that honestly is not necessary when it comes to just nutrition alone. Okay. Your body does not, I'm here to tell you real quick. If you're right now and you're like, I need to lose some weight, Angela, I've been considering going with keto route. I've been considering going intermittent fasting route. I've been considering going just diving in, taking these shots that most people are taking for weight loss. Like, and all, and, or I don't know, I could spend an hour here listing all the different things that are on the market today. I'm a big advocate for tools. I mean, I personally love a supplement line. I also coach patients at my sister's clinic that take some of the GLP-1 shots, and I help them with their food. I mean, you name it. There's nothing wrong with the tool, but you don't need another diet. You just need simplicity, and you need the direction on how to get there. All right. So today, again, on today, my goal today is to help you simplify some food tracking, meal prep without the chaos. I am going to go over some meal prep hacks. Is there anybody on right now that already meal preps? Um, if you are ready, if you meal prep now, then just say yes. Just say yes in the chat. I'd love to see who anybody meal preps. Or put no if you don't. I know I meal prep, but I don't meal prep everything, and I'm going to share with you that in a minute. Meal prep without the chaos or the stress or the need to like, oh my gosh, it's so freaking time consuming. I need a whole day in my kitchen. No, you don't. I love to teach 30 minutes or less of meal prep. That is my jam. I don't like to cook. I don't want to spend hours in the kitchen. It is not my favorite thing in the world. And if you're like me, no worries. There is a way to do it without all that. And then of course I want to teach you the fueling your metabolism and start finding freedom with food again. You should be able to eat the pizza night with your family. You should be able to go on a date night, or you should be able to go out with your friends and have a glass of wine and some chips and salsa or whatever your sweet spot is. With macros, we have so many women that go on vacations and come back and they've maintained their weight because we've created habits around what they're doing, and then they just jump back on the bandwagon. It doesn't take them 10 steps backwards because they had some food that was out of their norm. So I'm gonna walk you through. These are a few of the processes, the steps per se, that I teach inside of our programs, inside of our community. The Freedom Macro Method, like I said, is what I've developed to kind of walk you through things a little. And I'm going to go into more in depth on this, but number one, I always love to teach you to track for awareness. You see that word perfection in here a lot, as you guys can see that. It's because it's one of the number one things that hold women back with tracking. I was trying to be perfect. So you're going to see it in there a lot and probably hear me say it a lot. We track for awareness, not to be perfect. But prepping for simplicity, I want you guys to think, all right, she's going to teach me how to prep in a simple way, not a stressful way. Fuel for your hormones and metabolism, again, not restriction. You guys, restriction actually does so much more damage and stress on our hormones than many realize. And so I love teaching on that. And then pre-track is something I'm also going to show you just a couple tips on to relieve stress and also get some time back. Because some of you might have tracked in the past and be like, okay, I can't remember throughout the day to freaking stop and put the food in my phone. Anybody had that? I do this, I do it often, but my jam is pre-tracking a little bit. But again, I'm going to show you because it relieves stress and it gives you some time back. So, um, again, if you guys have questions as I'm talking, you guys can always put it in the chat and I'm going to go through at the end and do my best to answer any if you have any or jot them down. You can always ask. But let's get into tracking for awareness and what does that even really mean? Um, Tracking is often for some women, they look at it more as like a punishment. Like, oh God, I gotta track my food. Well, I can't have this and I can't have that and I can't have this, right? Everything is also a mindset switch. It's really important for you to look more as MyFitnessPal is your teacher. And what in the world does that even mean, right? It's not going to teach you necessarily how to track the food, but what I mean by that, it's going to teach you, it's going to bring you awareness around your current habits around food. So if you've ever tracked food and learned something about yourself, tell us what that is in the chat. Because what do I mean by that is like you might think, oh my goodness, because I hear it all the time, like, Angela, I'm eating clean, I'm eating clean, I'm eating clean. What does that really mean? You're eating clean, that's awesome, but how much are you eating? I don't know, Angela, I don't know, but I'm eating clean. I hear this often. Cool. Well, my answer to that, my rebuttal or challenge, so to speak, to that is always like just track for a week, or even just write it down on pen and paper. It at least is some sort of accountability, and that's your teacher because that's what you're going to learn about yourself. You're going to find out where you are now because that's what I call as your I call that your foundation. So say for example, if you were to coach with me, if I was coaching you one-on-one, or let me take it a whole nother level. If you ended up joining our Freedom Macro Society, we have a membership that's $47 a month. And you can literally come in there and you can go through the video sequence, all these steps that I've teach you how to do inside there. And the foundation step, it's actually step two. There's a step one that's even simpler, but step two is track for a week. Track for a week. I just want to see what your foundation is. Why? Because I can give you all the formulas in the world to tell you how many calories you need and how much protein and carbs and fat and all the things. However, if you have no idea where your starting point is, it's going to be really hard to go all the way up to, let's just say you track for a week and you realize I'm only averaging about 900 calories a day. Wow. Like my 7-year-old needs more than that, right? But this is what I mean by it's your teacher, it's your awareness. You track for a week and you see where you are. Then you do your math and your formula, which is step three inside of our society videos, where I walk you through step three. Now you look at it and you see where your averages are. Then you do the formulation and figure out where your goals are, excuse me. Because again, if you're 900, you cannot go from 900 to 1800 overnight. You're going to end up gaining weight and you're going to be like, you're going to be miserable. So your foundation starts and then we increase. And then once you get to tracking, again, one of the biggest pieces of letting go of perfection is when you finally have your goals when you're tracking. So let me use a number for example. Say I'm just going to go with 150s, or excuse me, 1500. Say you do your math and you figure out your nutritional goals, and your calories is to stay around 1500 calories a day and 120 grams of protein. That's all we start with is those two numbers. And say one day you're at 1600, the next day you're at 13 and so forth, right? You get what I'm saying. Not every day will be perfect. Put that in the chat. Not every day will be perfect. Put it in the chat. I just want to make sure that that stands out to you guys. Because this is the reason why this third bullet point right here says we focus, and I teach you guys how to look more at your weekly averages than trying to be perfect every day, because not every day you're going to hit 120 on grams of protein. You're going to have some days where life happens and you end up missing a meal, or you have to grab a shake instead of a meal, or I don't know. Maybe I was just talking to somebody at the gym the other day that meal prepped all this food and then there's freaking dog got on the counter and got it. So, I mean, literally, that's real life stuff that could happen to any of us at any moment, at any time. So what do I mean by that is you got to set yourself up for success by looking at your averages. So if you track for the entire week, then you can do it pen and paper, however you do. I have a spreadsheet that I plug things in for clients and it tells me what is your average calories for the week and your average protein for the week. That's all I care when you get started. Just look at those two things. And look at your average. And I guarantee you'll find yourself doing better than you think. But if you focus on doing perfect every day, you're going to set yourself up for you're just gonna feel disappointed and like a failure all the time. And ladies, like we don't need that. Let's kick that to the curb. No guilt on that. And then of course the last bullet point I kind of already covered. You track for awareness, and then you do the formula that I teach you guys. And it is focusing on calories and protein first. So if you're new to food tracking and you've never done it before, or even if you have done it before, but you're just kind of restarting, I highly encourage you to just figure out your calories and your protein, which it is on the cheat sheet that I'm going to send you guys after this. So it'll come to you in an email. I don't want to go into math and stuff on this training because it can be too much information. And then you'll leave here with a headache and be like, blah. I don't, it'd be like, what is that Charlie Brown's teacher that's like, oh, you don't understand anything I'm saying because I said too much. So focus, but when you do your math, all I want you to focus on first is track to reach a certain calorie goal and a protein goal first. That's it. Do not focus on all these other numbers. Why? Because again, that's a form of the simplification that I teach inside of our programs, and it works. And it gives you flexibility. One day you might have extra fat, and so your carbs are lower, and vice versa. It gives you flexibility. You want to eat some pasta one night, eat some freaking pasta. We had turkey spaghetti last night, and it's great. I love spaghetti. It's one of my faves. But awareness is your empowerment tool. And you can't fix anything if you're not aware of what you're currently doing. And so that's where 1 week. So I challenge anybody on this call, if you don't do anything else, start tracking for a week without a goal in mind and just see where you're at. And when you do get into tracking, so again, these screenshots are from MyFitnessPal. A common mistake that I see women making whenever they're tracking and they're starting, and when they do have your goal. So I'm going to stick to my 150. Excuse me. I don't know why I keep saying 150. I'm going to stick to my 1500 calories and 120 protein as I talk as an example. When you do track, like this is actually my food from what is today? Wednesday? I think it was Monday. I think it was Monday's food log when I was creating this presentation for you guys. This is just a screenshot. Obviously, my goals, I eat over 1800 calories right now. That's my personal goal. But a lot of times whenever women are tracking, they're looking at the percents. And not that there's anything wrong with looking at the percents. Again, I want to teach you how to simplify it. I want to teach you how to look at the only number you need to look at is your grams. When you set a calorie and a protein goal, then all I want you to do is look at your grams. So say, for example, if I had 120 as my goal and then I crushed it and then I went over on this specific day, my personal goal usually is 140 when it comes to protein. So same thing, I'm right there. And so don't overthink this process. Look at your total grams for the day. Don't even look at it meal per meal. Again, this is where I see so many women getting really confused. If they're tracking one meal and then they're trying to get their percentages perfect for that meal, and then the next meal goes in and your percentages are going to change like crazy, don't do that to yourself. Okay, take a really deep breath and only focus on your total grams for the day. Okay. So if you're in MyFitnessPal, when you go to your nutrition, you can see this one is under the macros tab. This is my favorite tab. I like to see the pretty pie chart. This is a view from the nutrients tab, which gives you a little bit more info. And then of course you can look at those are my two tabs I'll look at. That's it. Okay. So there's a lot of things on this that you don't necessarily have to have. So keep it simple, keep it simple in the chat. So I know you guys are still with me here. I know it can be a lot of information at first. So I just want to make sure that I'm keeping up with the chats. Love it. I did, but I fell down. Not every day. Perfect. I love it. Awesome. Yes. Keep it simple. Perfect, Alyssa. Yeah. Simple is key. You guys, even when it comes down to picking your food, your plates do not need to be Pinterest pretty worthy at all. They just need to be balanced. And so here's a few tips that I wanted to share with you when it comes to meal prep. So many of you guys said you don't meal prep at all. Maybe some of you guys do some. A lot of the ladies I know inside of our community. So if any of you guys already meal prep, so I know some of you guys that are on today live are inside of our Freedom Macro Society coaching community. And so you guys are meal prepping. And so if you have a tip that helps you with meal prep, would you do me a huge favor and put it in the chat if you have the ability to type? I know, again, some of you guys are at work. See what is working for you, because I think the key, there is no one right answer when it comes to meal prep. But here's a few hacks that I want to share with you in the app, but also, of course, just in general. There's a 2x2 method that I wanted to share. And what this is like, say, for example, I like to do my meal prep on Sundays. I usually do it when I'm cooking dinner because, again, I don't like to be in the kitchen. It's not my favorite place. I did not grow up loving cooking. It was not my thing, but I'm the cook in the house. So I gotta learn to love it somewhat. So 2x2 method means this. If you can actually pick two proteins that you're going to cook for the week. So say I wanted to air fry some chicken, which I did this weekend. And then I also made some turkey meat. So I take turkey meat and I use taco seasoning and I make a bunch. And say I just wanted to pick those two proteins and I wanted to cook them. And then when I cook them all in a I batch cook it. And then I put them in Tupperwares and I put them in the fridge. Why? Because now I have two proteins for the week that I can mix and match foods. Same thing with carbs. If you want to do the same thing with carbs, you can definitely do, like, I have a rice cooker that I make quinoa in. I did that this weekend. That's actually part of my lunches all week is quinoa. It's high fiber. It's got a little bit of plant-based protein and it's super clean carb. Or you can do rice, or you can do, there's so many different things that you can do. You guys, you can do black beans. I use black beans often as well too. So you can pick two proteins and cook them, put them in Tupperwares, put them in the fridge. Now you can pick two carbs. Again, put them in Tupperwares, put them in the fridge. And then you can work on whatever veggies that veggies and fruit. I highly encourage two fruits a day, two veggies a day. And then you can just literally, you see this third bullet point says wash, chop, and portion out produce. Like you can, if you want to go to that level, you can put them all in a Tupperware together, or literally you can chop things up and divide them out into serving sizes. If you want to go to that extent, you don't have to. You can literally just have your fruit in the refrigerator and grab it when it's time to eat. That's personally what I do. Veggies, to me, I use steamable bag of veggies all the freaking time because, again, it's simple for me. I can literally be grounding turkey meat, taco meat in the pan, put a bag of peas in the microwave and turn it on for 5 minutes. Boom, that's cooked. And then I put the quinoa in my rice cooker. This is what I did this weekend. Turn that sucker on. And by the time the meat is done browning, then all of my entire meal for lunches are made. Now I just put them all in Tupperwares. So keep it crazy simple. So you could do the 2x2 method by cooking two different things. And then whenever it's time to eat, you just get out your Tupperwares and you mix and match your plate. That's one way. Or I know some of y'all that are here on the call right now, y'all just focus on pre-cooking a bunch of meat for the week. And that works beautifully for a lot of people. I know I do that often, especially if my husband's gone to the fire station a lot throughout the week. I don't want to cook at night, and we have volleyball practice. My son has jujitsu, like we're all over the place. And so I will cook if I know, especially he's going to be gone, because he doesn't like leftovers, but I do. I will cook a bunch of protein for the week, and therefore I'm not cooking during the week. I will just take some of that protein and find a side that I like to it. So you can just pre-cook a bunch of protein for the week. Okay. And that can be whatever meat that you want. The cheat sheet that I'm going to send you actually has a bunch of ideas and it has a list. Portion out the fruit and veggies. I already said that. Now here's two hacks that are these screenshots here. Once you track, and this is pretty specific to MyFitnessPal. Other apps may have a very similar thing. But your history. So your history is my favorite place, because if you have tracked something one time, and now these aren't full-blown meals that are recipes and a bunch of stuff. You have to kind of create those. But say I ate this screenshot right here shows my dinner the other night. It was ground turkey, and then it was spaghetti sauce, and it was spaghetti, the actual noodles. And so it's in my history, so that I ate that the other day. I actually had some leftovers and ate it the next day too. And so it was so easy to track because I already tracked it the one time. Does that make sense? Once you track it once, then when you go to track, I just go into my history and I click plus, 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 boom, I've tracked, done. So if you are okay, which I highly suggest, being a creature of habit, eating a lot of the same things. I'm not saying all the time, but you guys, boring works. And some people get bored faster than me. I'm boring. I eat the same things over and over and over. I'm not saying that you have to, but if you use a lot of the same foods over and over, which a lot of us do, then you can actually just go into food, log my food, go into the history, and you're going to find all your previous foods. And all you have to do is plus, plus, plus. Okay, that's one hack. I use that all the time, and I can pre-track my next day in less than 2 minutes because of that very same thing. Or you can go to my meals. So same thing. Say if you eat like this is an example right here. So this oats, eggs, cottage cheese, and turkey. Again, I'm pretty boring. I eat a lot of I eat the same breakfast often. And so I made it a meal. So again, you have your phone out, your MyFitnessPal, or do it on the computer. For those of y'all that like the computer better, it's up to you. But you can go into my meals and then go create a meal. And then all I did was I picked the oats that I use. I picked the eggs, cottage cheese, and turkey crumbles, which I put those three together and scramble them, and it's amazing. And then I create it as a meal. And so now when I eat that for breakfast, I just need to go select the meal. And then that's one plus sign instead of having to go boom, 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 boom. Does that make sense? So that those are two hacks inside of the actual app to help you track faster. So let's see. I'm going to check the comments real quick, the chat. So yeah, thank you guys. So Kim and Reagan are both inside of our community. They just shared some really good tips in the chat if you guys haven't seen for what helps them with meal prep. So plan for simplicity, not stress, you guys. The biggest thing I want to say is this. I hear often like I don't have time to meal plan, Angela, or meal prep, excuse me. Let's just say prep. Um, if you just look at it in a way of like, I need to slow down so I can speed up. What does that mean? Slow down, spend a little bit of time planning and prepping. The rest of your week, you guys, it's going to have so much less stress because you're not thinking in the moment of what do I got to eat right now? Crap. Oh, man, what do I got to go cook right now? Oh, what choice do I have to go out to eat somewhere? And it's going to help you make better choices. And you guys, it can save you some money, especially if those of us that need it on a budget, like I think everybody does in today's world, in my personal opinion. But all right, so there's a few meal prep hacks and meal trap and some tracking stuff, something to make it faster. Think again, faster, faster, faster. Another part that I want to share is this. Perfect? Sorry, I love it. Perfect. Thank you, Kim and Reagan. They're sharing a lot of golden nuggets in the chat, y'all. It's awesome. I eat on repeat. I dislike not having a plan. That's when I make eating mistakes. Absolutely. Yeah. Listen, if you don't have a plan, like one of the biggest, this is a hard lesson I had to learn, especially in business. I learned it in business, but to me, business and a health journey are so much alike, especially if you've ever been an entrepreneur, like they're very similar. And the reason why so many of us tend to be overwhelmed is from lack of planning or organization. And so this is what helps a lot of us just be a little bit more organized and planned for our health. Um, all right. So I know I'm going really fast. I feel like I'm going really fast. The other piece of this that I wanted to really share is our hormones. Again, I know we dropped our ages in the chat. If you didn't and you're comfortable with, share your age. Not all of us are having hormonal issues. Some of us are. But I wish at 44 now, I wish in my early 30s, I knew what I know now about nutrition and about how it impacts my metabolism. And so I want you to look, this is more like a mindset shift, to look at your food. It's not about restriction. You don't need restriction. Restriction is very temporary. And if you want this to be a lifelong journey, not something that you're only going to do for a certain amount of time so you can hit a goal and then you fall off the bandwagon and just gain all your weight back. I have never been told by any woman that I've spoke to, whether we coach together or not, that they wanted to just lose weight for a temporary event and then gain it all back and they don't care. I've never had that. I've never not one time been told that. So I think it's important for you guys to know a little bit of the method behind the madness. Instead of just looking at your food as your fuel to lose some weight, your fuel, your food that we put in our mouths is also for our hormones and our metabolism. And restriction do not serve either one of them. Restriction is
I'll
very
go look.
temporary, and will end up leading you down a road of autoimmune or different issues and different damages and stuff to your body. We don't want to do that. So, okay, sorry. So a little bit of, without going into too much, I just like to educate you a little bit if you're not familiar with what is the purpose of the balance? The proteins, the carbs, and the fat. Why in the world is that so important? It's really important because they all have a different role. Your metabolism is boosted by your protein. Your protein is so incredibly important for so many reasons. And this is why I encourage you to focus on calories and protein first only, especially if you're new to tracking, because it's the most important one. We can't build muscle without protein. Protein, our body has to burn a lot more calories in order to process protein. And I mean food protein. I'm not talking protein shakes. Your body processes them very different. And I'm not saying you can't have shakes because literally I drink one a day, occasionally two. You can totally have them as supplement, but not for all of your meals because your protein is important. It's your metabolism booster. I want you to think of it that way. Your carbs are your energy and your mood support. How many of you guys have ever cut out all your carbs and you were moody? You find yourself like snapping at your kids for no reason or snapping at your husband for no freaking reason because you have no fuel. Your brain needs 120 grams of carbs a day. If you want to build muscle, you need the protein, but you also need carbs to build muscle. Carbs are your body and your hormones' preferred source of fuel. And without carbs, I don't know, I'm brain dead when I don't have carbs. I'm brain dead. I'm so brain dead. And many of us are. Sometimes we cut out our carbs with a goal to lose weight. And in reality, I mean, you can drop some weight by cutting out all your carbs. You could cut out your carbs for the rest of this week and probably drop a couple pounds. But what's going to happen whenever you add them back? It comes right back. It helps you drop some water weight. And if you do it for too long, you could actually risk losing muscle. And that's not what we want. Our metabolism and muscle, they are best friends. And the more muscle we have, the faster your metabolism is going to be. And listen, like I am a big believer, and you can do this at any age. I have one amazing client that has worked with us off and on. That she's 76 now, or she's 77, and she is a perfect example of like the age is just a number. We can change our bodies and our metabolism no matter what age we are. It just might be a little harder as the older we get, but it's not impossible. And then fats. I want you guys to really make sure that you guys do understand that healthy fats are important too. That's your hormone stabilizer. Eating too low of carbs, fat, protein, let's just call it under eating. If you undereat, your metabolism eventually tanks. And it will cause you to gain weight. It will cause you to pack on the belly fat, especially as well too. So healthy fats are important. Balance it helps keep your happy hormones. Let's just put it that way. Happy hormones. So you can serve your body with the food too. Um, and again, I'm you could probably hear you see me repeating a lot of things because I think it's incredibly important. But do not have that all or nothing mentality starting with day one. Do not go from what I call zero to hero. Focus on the calories and protein only. Once you get really good at that, there is no time frame. Everybody's going to be different. When you get really good at hitting your calories and protein, then you can start focusing on your carbs and your fat. That's how we teach it. And I see way more success than if I give women a calorie, protein, carbs, and fat goal from day one, because that can be overwhelming. Let your carbs and your fat fall into place. Be flexible. Okay. Be flexible. And your body will appreciate it. Your body will respond better. So the last little kind of hack that I want to go over today is the pre-tracking piece of it. Again, I love pre-tracking. I love teaching women to pre-track in small increments. Why pre-tracking? Is it a have to? No, not at all. For some people, pre-tracking doesn't work for them, and that's okay. Again, you are you, and it's your pace, your race is seriously my favorite thing to say. But pre-tracking is one of my biggest stress hacks, and time hacks. And what do I mean by that? Because again, if you're trying to track in the moment, some people it works beautifully for. So again, I'm not saying it may not work. tracking in the moment might be the best tool for you, and that might be the best method. For me personally, I just like anybody, I get busy and distracted, and I will eat a few meals and I'm like, crap, what did I eat? I don't even remember what I ate an hour ago, much less yesterday, right? That struggle is real. Put agree if you agree with that one. So again, if you do a little bit of pre-tracking. So this is where I mean by slow down so you can speed up and flow for the week. So this tip is actually a part of the cheat sheet that I'm going to send you guys in your email today with the replay. If you know what your protein goal is, you could literally spend 5 or 10 minutes. At first, it might take you longer, let's be real, but as you get used to it, it's going to go a little faster. But my first piece of advice is once you know what your protein goal is for the week, for the day, then open up your MyFitnessPal and play with it, and go into today or go into tomorrow or whichever, and just go to your breakfast and pick your proteins that you're going to eat for the day. Pick your proteins. And so this is an example of a day that I tracked a long time ago whenever I created this screenshot. But on this specific day, I was drinking a First Form protein shake. So one scoop gives me 24 grams of protein, and I was putting it in some almond milk. Okay, so I put those two. That's not all I ate. This pre-tracking example is just showing you to start by going through your meals and inputting your protein. So again, on this specific day for breakfast, I knew I was going to drink the shake. So I put that in there. There's 24 grams of protein. And then for my first snack, I was eating this protein yogurt, Greek yogurt. Now, this Greek yogurt had 13 grams of protein. I personally eat one now that's a ratio brand. I get it at Brookshire's, Walmart, you name it. I get it a lot everywhere, pretty much. Of course, where we live, since we all live in different places, you may not have that one. But that one, the one I eat now has 25 grams. So either way, I know my first snack is usually a yogurt. And then for lunch, I knew I was going to eat some ground turkey. And so again, I put the ground turkey. I usually have 4 ounces per serving, and that gives me 22 grams. Okay. And then my afternoon snack, I'm usually grabbing a Premier or Protein or a Quest protein shake. I usually get those out of the fridge because they're ready to go. That is usually what I grab along with an apple on the way out the door at 3 o'clock to go sit in my pickup line to go pick up the kids. That's usually my routine. And so this specific one has 30 grams of protein. And then dinner. This specific night, I ate salmon. I love salmon. It's great omega healthy fats, but look at the protein, 35 grams. So if you do nothing else, if tracking everything already feels like, oh my gosh, this feels overwhelming, Angela, you're not alone. I highly suggest just start with this one step. Don't even do the next 2 steps I'm about to teach you if you're not ready for it. Be okay with not doing it all right away from the beginning. Okay. But why do I say that is because sometimes all we need to do is track our protein so we can see where we're at. Just do this part and call it a day and celebrate the heck out of yourself because you did. Okay. Now, if you're ready, now I've got my protein entered. Step 2 on the cheat sheet that I'm going to send you guys is the step. Now you can add your carbs. Again, this is more like a pre-tracking so you can plan your day for success. So you know you're going to hit your numbers. So again, I already had my protein in, so now I'm going to add my oats and blueberries are my carbs. Fruits are carbs. They're good, healthy fiber carbs. I ate a rice cake here. Peas are a green vegetable, definitely a carb. It's a fibrous carb, and a sweet potato, banana, and then down here I ate a salad to go with my salmon. And then the third step is if you're not at your fat goal, then you can add some additional things for your fat. So again, I don't want you to get hung up on all of that. I highly encourage you to do a little pre-tracking and put foods on repeat. You heard Reagan say in the chat, put things on repeat, put things on repeat, put things on repeat. You guys, a lot of times we are the ones that are overcomplicating the process by trying to do too much or trying to think of a different meal every single day for lunch. Don't do it. Do not do it to yourself. Be okay eating the same meals at least for the week, and then the next week change it up. All right. Eat on repeat. Yeah. Let's see. I'm going to go make sure. Cut out all carbs and got a kidney infection. Yeah, Connie, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, cutting out carbs in general can be, yeah, zombie mode. I love it. It can be definitely hard on your entire body and your brain, and you're snappy and you're moody, right? But as you can see, one thing I do want to point out that I really wasn't planning on talking about, but I get this a lot too, especially coaching client patients at my sister's clinic that are diabetics and all these things. It doesn't matter if you're diabetic or not, like carbs are meant to be coupled with the protein. That's why you see I added protein in all of my meals first. So I make sure I'm prioritizing protein at every single one of your meals. If you don't do anything else after today's call, prioritize protein at every single one of your meals and start there. Okay. I just want to share a couple of our ladies. Kim is actually on here right now. Kim, check out Kim. Kim's amazing, you guys. Um, she said at 53, I'm just going to read them. You guys can read them too. But at 53, she decided to stop dieting and finally learn how to fuel her body the right way. And it literally changed everything. She's doing phenomenal in macros and fitness and doing all the things, as well as being a nurse at a school and doing all the things. She's down 63 pounds, y'all. Give her some kudos, especially since she's on live today. 63 pounds. She's off blood pressure medicine for the first time since 2004, and has more energy than ever. She enjoys food freedom. She's a very active, very present grandma to her sweet grandbabies, as well as a mom. She lifts 4 days a week. She finds times to get her walk in. She set boundaries at work so she can say time out for 30 minutes. This lady is having her lunch break and nobody is allowed to interrupt me. I'm telling your business, Kim. Thank you. I love that about you. And she's healthier and more confident than she has in decades. And she's rocking it. And she started somewhere, you guys. We all start somewhere. Shauna here, the second one, 4 years ago. She's been coaching with me for 4 years, literally, close to 4 years. When she came to me, though, she was exhausted, overweight, diagnosed with multiple health issues like Hashimoto's. She had hormone issues, thyroid issues, blood pressure. She had a lot of things going on. She was what her doctor literally called the perfect storm. It had never done macros before, had never done anything. And she's in her mid 50s as well. Nothing seemed to help, she said, until I joined Angela's program. The education, because I love to educate you a little bit without overwhelming you, so that it becomes a lifestyle. The support in the community transformed my health and mindset. And today I'm winning with a lifestyle I can truly sustain. Yeah, now she does this without tracking. You guys, again, food tracking is not meant to be forever. You do it for a while, you find your discipline, you take breaks along the way, and then you get to that point where you want to be, then you start to maintain, and then you no more tracking unless you just want to. You don't have to do it forever. So don't look at it like a death sentence. This is just something to get you to where you want to be. Suzanne here is an amazing example. I've tried every diet over the last 50 years. She was introduced to dieting at 10 years old, you guys. Can anybody relate to that? Do you remember what age you were when you first were introduced to dieting? She was 10. And she said, but it wasn't until I found Angela and the Freedom Macro Method that I finally healed her metabolism, broke free from yo-yo dieting. She's now 60, had just recently hit her 100. She's nearly at that 100-pound mark from her heaviest weight. And you guys, if you see her transformation, the muscle this woman has gained at 60 years old is phenomenal. It's never too late. And then, of course, Amber over here is another one of our amazing women that is in our community as well too. A working busy mama as well as an online entrepreneur. She's made a lot of amazing transformations. My favorite with her is her mindset. She said working with Angela has completely transformed my mindset, health, and faith. We talk about faith a lot in our community, you guys. I've gone from obsessing over the scale and feeling stuck to living with gratitude, strength, and freedom. The community and guidance she's built has been life-changing, and I can't imagine continuing without it. So again, the community and all of this is definitely, as you can see. And if these women can do it, do you think you can? Yes, please put a yes in the chat, because if they can, so can you. And I want you to know all four of those ladies that you just saw are still in our community. Like I said, Shauna's been for almost 4 years now. And if anything, I hope more than anything, they give you hope. Anything is possible. And they're there to also support you, by the way. You don't just have me, you don't just have Reagan, you actually have them. Because I think it's important for you to see, You're meant to live in peace, not pressure of diet and food and what my scale says and how my clothes fit and all these numbers and things that we stress over every single day. We're meant to live in peace and not pressure and to be present with our family and to love the skin that we're in. God doesn't want you just striving for goals and burning out. He definitely wants you to be strong, be healthy, be free, not just in your body, but also your mind and your spirit, you guys. And truly, it's the full meal deal whenever for the ladies that do end up in our communities because we talk about it all. We don't just talk about macros, even though this is a big part of today's call. We were never meant, my favorite thing to say every training, I've said it on stage, all the things at our conferences and stuff, but we were never meant, God never intended any of us to sacrifice our health for the sake of raising kids, for the sake of growing businesses, performing at our jobs, any of that. If you agree, put agree in the chat again, because that's my sweet spot. And I think that's my passion driver because so many of us thought we were supposed to, we've been trained and programmed by society to sacrifice ourselves for everybody else, for a status, for money that we need to make, for ranks that we try to hit, especially those of us in network marketing. Like I'm very goal driven, but I sacrificed my health for all of that way too many times that I refuse to do it again. And I love to teach you guys to not do it. Your family, your kids, your grandkids, anybody surrounding you in your entire life look up to you. You are their influence. You are their mentor. And if you're not taking care of yourself, they're not going to do it either in the long run. They don't listen to us, mamas. Our kids don't always listen to us. Y'all, I know y'all agree on that one. However, they do what we do. Because they see what we do, if that makes sense. So it's really important as I close today, I just really want you guys to look at the mindset side of this and see that food tracking is a process. Nobody's perfect from day one, if not ever. Nobody's perfect ever. So learn on this journey to give yourself grace, be patient with the process of tracking food. Or if you don't, you're always going to be stuck. You're always going to feel stuck. And you can't learn everything in 1 hour, you guys. I would love to just give you the full meal deal and everything today, but I know that y'all would be paralyzed leaving this call with so much information that you wouldn't take action. And that's definitely, that is definitely not my goal for this, my goal for anybody on this call. And so if you did find this helpful, I had some of you already reach out to me before we get started on the society membership that we do have, like, what the heck is it? Well, all the things. And so I do want to share it with you really quick, literally take me about 2 minutes so you guys can see exactly what it is. Because we want to invite you. If you're in a place like this is helpful, really still confused, which some of you might be, and that's okay. But this is our newest opportunity is our Freedom Macro Society, and it's a membership program. We teach you how to simplify, we teach you how to heal, finally feel free in your food. I used to only offer one-on-one coaching programs, and it's been on my heart for a long time to open up something that was, one, affordable, and two, where we can just make bigger impact. There's so many women that need our help. And so inside of the Freedom Macro Society, you're in this exclusive community right here where I coach you inside the group. We do trainings like this twice a month, not quite as long. We usually do them shorter and sweeter, but mindset trainings every single week. So you get the supportive community. You get the live, like I said, the coaching and the accountability inside there. Women are asking questions, posting things all day, every day. I'm in there every single day answering questions or supporting you guys and teaching. You get access to all of the trainings that I do. You get a login where you can actually access it all for only $47 a month. And you can cancel anytime. You can do it a month and be like, okay, this is not for me. Cool. Shoot me a message and it can be canceled. There's no contracts. I don't do contracts. I hate contracts myself. So I don't put you in it. I'm not a fan. And so inside you got a sneak peek of like 4 of the steps today, because that's a great place for you all to start. But inside it actually looks like this is a screenshot from the inside. You get the full 8-step process that you go over time. You do not go all in one day and look at all of it. There's a hormone and weight loss blueprint training that we did recently. You get to access to that. The calls, the workshops that we do, like I said, they're similar to this, twice a month, just a tad bit shorter, because I value y'all's time. And then of course the coaching. What I'm doing right now, I was talking to Reagan the other day. I was like, I love giving you guys stuff. I love giving stuff back. So if it's appealing to you whatsoever, you can put link in the chat if it's like something, if you're like, yeah, I'd love to check that out. No obligation whatsoever, but if you decide to, or you can actually go to theangelacampbell.com as well. We'll send you the link though. If you put link, we'll put it in here. But if you decide to join, if you're like, I'd love some help, even if it's only for a month, or some of you might go way longer than that. I'm giving away, I don't know what this yellow line is. If anybody from this training does decide to join between now and Saturday, this weekend, between now and the first, then I'm actually getting entered for a new beanie that we just created with our new logo, and then of course a big hoodie. So just know that you deserve to feel good again, you guys. And we'd be honored to help you do it if you decide to. If not, we do still have, of course, our Freedom Macro Method free community. If free is a better resource for you right now, hang tight in there, ask questions, post. And the last thing I want to do is go over a couple questions that I usually get after these calls so that you know, or even just about the society, or even just about food tracking, about anything. One of the top questions I always get, or well, I guess I'll just leave it as a question. What if I don't have time? I'm going to tell you, it's time is something we don't get back. And it's the number one reason slash excuse that we do tell ourselves often. Like I used to tell myself all the time, I don't have time to work out. I don't even have time to slow down to eat. I did. But what I didn't have is structure and support. I have a health coach that I use very often. And when I need it, because I'm human too and I need help, just like I help everybody else, right? And so when you have the structure and the support and the different mindset shift, you will have time, I promise. It's a priority issue. It's not necessarily a time issue because we all have the same amount of time in the day. And a lot of us just don't know how to do it. What if you have failed before? You've done all the diets and nothing worked. We do teach you to make this time different. Our mission and my goal when you come into the community is to teach you. This is why I like to educate a little bit. I don't like to overwhelm you with too much information, but I want you to know why you need protein. I want you to know why it's okay to start with 10 minutes. I want you to know why it's damaging to your body and your metabolism when you undereat drastically for a really long time. Why? Because if you know why, a lot of times you're way more likely to not make the same mistakes anymore. So if you failed before, cool. We welcome you. That's 99.9% of the women in our community, if not 100%, to be honest. And I already answered this question, but do I have to track forever? Absolutely not. You don't even start with tracking, you guys. If you get into the society, our video one doesn't even have you track it. We're starting with some even way more simpler things to at least get the ball rolling and get you started. What if I don't like it? It happens, y'all. Let's be real. Again, there's no contracts. You can literally shoot me a message, and if you decide to join and you're not locked in. I promise. Cancel at any time. And then one question I've actually got a lot lately, I love to hit is why is it so affordable? And again, I think I shared this just a tiny bit because why is it so affordable at $47 a month? Because other programs that I offer and have actually offered, which I don't offer anymore in the past, were upwards of 600 to 1,000 a month. I know that sounds freaking crazy, but a little bit different world and different time. And I was aligned with that at the time, not so much at this time. I feel so much more. I wanted to serve more on a level that was affordable after hearing so many women just not able to get help because it was just out of the price range. They couldn't afford it, right? Like that bothered me every time I would hear that, just because, especially the women that would come to me crying and needing help so badly, but yet finances didn't allow it to happen. So it was always on my mind and in my heart to do something like this way more affordable for women. I still have one-on-one coaching options. They're not going away because that's going to be the better place for some. But this option allows more to get help. And that's kind of my bigger mission. So that is it, you guys. Thank you all so much for hopping on today. I'm so honored that you guys are here. If you're catching me live or obviously replay, if you're catching it replay and you're like, I would love to at least check it out. Awesome. Some of you guys are already in the society opportunity that we have as well. And yeah, thank you guys for hopping on. If y'all have questions, I'm looking in the I'm looking in the chat right now, and I'm going to stop recording.